Looking for financial insights you can trust?
How do you protect yourself as an investor? What's the strategy?
I think it's really simple. I think you just want to be diversified in your portfolio.
The Payne family brings real-world experience to every conversation.
Well, I think that's the problem right now is, right, a lot of people that are close to retirement, they're taking so much risks. And if we do get a big sell-off, it could derail their retirement.
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Attention Ditto Heads. Attention Bo Scouts.
Goes by the pseudonym Bo Snerdley.
It's time for the soul of excellence.
He is a radio host here in New York.
The Rush Hour is on the air.
Rush.
Now here's James Golden.
I think it's very ironic and frankly sad to see celebrities who live in gated communities with private security, with millions of dollars to spend protecting themselves, trying to just demonize, law enforcement, public servants who work for the United States government to enforce our nation's laws. And you didn't hear this same type of uproar from celebrities in Hollywood when the previous administration allowed an invasion of our nation's borders and allowed innocent women and girls like Jocelyn Nungaray and Laken Riley to be killed and raped and murdered at the hands of people who should have never been in our country in the first place. And now you have law enforcement who are simply trying to do their jobs to remove violent predators like those who took the lives of innocent Americans. There was no uproar from Hollywood and the elitist crowd at the Grammys then, but there is now, and I think that speaks to the unfortunate irony that we're seeing in Hollywood.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Tuesday edition of Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour, fastest hour in American media. That, of course, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt speaking today outside of the White House. The celebrity class, the backlash, by the way, with this Billie Eilish is hysterical. It is funny as all get out. Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is going to be held in the Bay Area, correct? Yeah, I'm asking. Correct. Yes, correct. And it's the Seattle Seahawks and that team out of New England that has the history in cheating, correct? Am I right or am I wrong?
You're right.
I'm right. Okay, yeah, the ones that have the history with cheating are playing the Seattle Seahawks. There is an ad that was put up, a billboard ad. I laughed myself silly when I saw it. The billboard ad shows an ICE officer. The backdrop is just plain black, and it is an ICE officer standing up holding a trophy. And the caption on the ad, big ad, it's a big billboard, Defensive Player of the Year, ICE. And apparently a group put this up near Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco. And liberal activists out of the Bay Area are out. They are outraged. It's a digital sign funded by American sovereignty. They can't take it down. It's a digital billboard. It depicts a uniformed immigration officer hoisting a trophy and praises him as Defensive Player of the Year. And the liberals out there, the San Francisco liberals are having a cow. Oh, yes. I love it. Kara, that was very clever. Now, I had a question that was put to me via text from America's Small Caffeinated Mom. And, folks, this is what it's like to be me. So I get a text from America's Small Caffeinated Mom. Hi. Hi there. I asked Princess Diana if she thinks the SAVE Act will pass, and didn't say what Princess Diana said, but she's texting me, hi, I asked Princess Diana a question. Maybe I'm eager to listen, see maybe what you think about. Who cares what I think? I asked Princess Diana. Who cares what I think? You know, really, this is the SAVE Act. Now, Congresswoman Luna tried to get it put into the funding bill that passed today on its way to President Trump for a signature. I 99.9% don't think it made it in there. I've been looking just to make sure I'm not missing anything, but it didn't make it in there because Speaker Johnson didn't want it in there because it would have caused the bill to fail in the House. Or at least fail in the Senate. The Senate would have to go back if they added it in, and the Senate would not pay. It would just throw a monkey wrench into it. So it was left. Your government, you'll be pleased to know, is not shut down any longer, like you cared. It was shut down yesterday. Very few people noticed. And 2 weeks from now, the Democrats will probably try to shut down DHS because that's the only piece of this. 95% of the government is now funded. Miraculously. We haven't seen this. It's almost regular order. So most of the appropriations bills to run the government for a full year have been passed, with the exception of this DHS. And Democrats are going nuts because they want Kristi Noem impeached. They want to make sure that ICE agents can be doxxed so that they can be hurt, and all sorts of other things. Also, in the week, that SAVE Act is supposed to come up for a vote. The Senate is Chuck Schumer yesterday said that requiring Americans, I know, right? I just said, poor James. Yeah. Chuck Schumer yesterday said that requiring Americans to prove their ID and citizenship to register is nothing more than Jim Crow 2.0. Now, since the Democrats are the party that gave America Jim Crow, I think Chuck is hoping that his experience with and of course the Democrat Party, the new Confederacy right now, trying their best to get a second civil war going over illegal immigrants. I suppose he thinks this Jim Crow reference, since the Democrats have been so good at Jim Crow, it's their policies. I suppose he thinks that will scare people. It does not. You have the other, I think this Brennan Center and another policy group arguing that if, folks, this is just ludicrous, so we have to even be discussing it. If we have a requirement that people have to show their ID, show their passport in order to vote, what we're hearing from the left is that Black Americans are going to be hurt. Insulting to Black people who they assume are too stupid to get ID. Let's just face facts. That's all it is. They're too stupid to get an ID. So millions and millions, according to the left, of Black people never travel on planes because they can't get an ID. They can't go to the store and buy things. Oh, that was Kathy Hochul. Right. Good memory. Kathy Hochul said Black people too stupid to, pretty much in her words. She didn't use the word stupid. I'm paraphrasing what she said, was that Black people don't know how to work laptops. This is the view that Democrats have of Black people. They don't know how to get ID. They're too stupid to get ID. And millions upon millions upon millions of black people don't have ID. So then they can't buy all those things that are required to have ID. They can't travel on airplanes because they don't have ID. And of course, asking them to show up with an ID or proof of citizenship to vote is somehow equal to racism. It's no other group in America. That woman that's on The View, Sunny Hostin, is another one. I saw a video of her saying pretty much the same thing. Black people, these people are so insulting. And their view of black people is just, it's disgusting, quite frankly. Now, as to the question that I don't know what Princess Diana's answer is, so maybe I should wait. But here's the thing. I think that the SAVE Act might squeak by in the House. It might. It should. The Senate is an entirely different story. In the Senate, you have recalcitrant Republicans. People, and I don't know their positions on this particular bill, so I'm not saying that they've said they'll oppose it, but in the Senate, we have the likes of the Susan Collinses. We have the likes of the Lisa Murkowskis. We have Tom Tillis and other senators who one might hope would go along with this, especially since the majority of American people want it in both parties, by the way. But the Senate is in danger because Democrats realize they don't want people. And you need to ask yourself why. Why don't the Democrats as a party as the political party, not the rank and file Democrats, why don't the Democrats elected class want people to have to show ID to vote? Looking at the clock very quickly, I need to see whether we have time for this Harry Enton before the break. We do. Cut 9. And this will just show you how Americans feel about this idea of showing identification when you vote.
The American people are with Nicki Minaj, because what are we talking about here? So take a look here. Favor voter ID to vote. Look, I got all this polling on the screen going back since 2018. You'll notice on all of it, it's all north of 75%, 76%, 76%, 76%, 81%, and then 83% in the last year of Americans agree with Nicki Minaj. They favor photo ID to be able to vote.
What about by party? What's the party breakdown?
Yeah, normally you might expect, hey, there'd be a big divide by party with Republicans really for it and Democrats really against it. But not really here. I mean, just take a look here. Favor photo ID to vote. You got 95% of Republicans, pretty much all of them, but even 71% of Democrats favor photo ID to vote. So again, Nicki Minaj posting that on X, and what you see is that the American people, actually, it's not really all that controversial. The American people are with Nicki Minaj, whether they are Republican or even if they are Democrats. We're talking about 7 in 10 Democrats agreeing with Nicki Minaj that you, in fact, should show a photo ID to vote.
What's the racial breakdown?
Okay, what's the racial breakdown on this, right? Because I think a lot of people make the argument that people of color, non-white Americans, have a harder time procuring a photo ID to vote. But even here, take a look here. Favor photo ID to vote. 85% of white people favor it. 82% of Latino. 76% of black Americans favor it. So the bottom line is this. Voter ID is not controversial in this country. A photo ID to vote is not controversial in this country. It is not controversial by party, and it is not controversial by race. The vast majority of Americans agree with Nicki Minaj that, in fact, you should have a photo ID to be able to vote.
So something of a non-controversy, in other words.
That's very good. The alliteration of Mr. John Berman, that Harvard education, paying off once again.
Harold, and thank you very much.
So there you have it. Even black people overwhelmingly say, yeah, show your ID to vote. The only people against this are the Democrat Party elected officials and their minions or bosses in the mainstream press. Fastest hour in American media continues. We have so much today, folks. Whatever you do, stay near. Don't go away.
Rush.
This is The Rush Hour with James Golden.
Bo Snerdley.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
James Golden, known popularly as Bo Snerdley.
This is The Rush Hour with James Golden.
Rush.
And ladies and gentlemen, you're talking about voting. You know, Tulsi Gabbard was in Fulton County when the FBI raided to get a hold of those ballots in the 2020 election, and that has caused a lot of speculation in the mainstream media. So unusual. What was she doing there? This is, well. Caroline Leavitt spoke about Tulsi Gabbard, and I was so pleased to hear this soundbite. I hope you are just as pleased as I am.
Tulsi Gabbard has been tapped by the President of the United States to oversee the sanctity and the security of our American elections. She's working directly alongside the FBI Director, Kash Patel. This is a coordinated whole-of-government effort to ensure that our elections, again, are fair and transparent moving forward. I don't see anything wrong with the President tasking a cabinet member to pursue an issue that most people want to see solved. Maybe you don't, but I know many Americans do want to make sure our elections are protected, and that's what Tulsi Gabbard is focused on doing.
Yeah, yeah, maybe you don't. We all know that. But yes, and of course, that will also provide further outrage fuel for the left. I have a bunch of awfuls here in the lineup today. Here's one, a quick one. Cut 17. This is quick. We have time for it before the break. Here's an awful that you can, here she is.
They're planning to start forcing women to marry and have children here in America that do not want to. And so I need all of you women out there to remember that there are plants. There are plants that are well known for being harmful that we need to stay away from.
Now, I really don't understand the reference to the plants that are harmful to stay away from. But she believes that they, and we don't know, we can imagine who the they are, want to force women to get married against their will. We'll be back, folks. Don't go away.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
James Golden, known popularly as Bo Snerdley.
This is The Rush Hour with James Golden.
Rush.
I think it's incredibly irresponsible for elected Democrats to refer to ICE agents and Border Patrol agents who have their jobs, by the way, because of the laws that were enacted and passed by the United States Congress. These are legitimate law enforcement organizations that rest within the Department of Homeland Security that have been enforcing our nation's border and our nation's immigration laws for years. I didn't hear Chuck Schumer or Democrats speaking that way of ICE agents under President Barack Obama, who deported hundreds of thousands of criminal illegal aliens from our country. That's all President Trump, Secretary Noem, and this entire administration are seeking to do. Targeted law enforcement operations of illegal alien criminals who broke our nation's laws, especially those who have committed heinous acts of violence against the American people. And it is a mandate that the president was elected upon to secure our homeland and to carry out these deportations. And it's something he will never waver in his commitment in, because why? A country without borders, a country without laws will cease to be a country at all. Now, there can be policy discussions and debates about how those tactics are enforced. And I know Congress will be having those discussions in the coming days. But as far as the underlying principle of enforcing our nation's laws and protecting our border, that is something this president will never waver on, because he knows it's what the American people elected him to do.
James Golden Snerdley here. You heard. Okay, government's reopen again. Most of you didn't even realize it was closed, part of it. Partial shutdown. Now 95% of the government is fully funded. They're going to argue about ICE. They got 2 weeks. And so the Democrats may say, all right, we're going to shut down ICE. You have people we have in the soundbite roster. Representative goes by the name of Sarah McBride. Hit that real quick. We won't listen to the whole thing. This is
if Donald
McBride.
Trump does not fire Kristi Noem this week, then House Democrats will move to begin impeachment proceedings against her next week when we return to session. The House is currently out of session this week. I'm down in Sussex County today, a county with a significant immigrant population. But regardless of where I am in Delaware, red areas or blue areas, one of the things that I most consistently hear from constituents, people who hold a range of positions on immigration policy, is that they are outraged and disgusted by what they are seeing unfold before their very eyes.
I count me among them. I'm outraged and disgusted too. I am so outraged and disgusted. You know, in Minneapolis, as Gavin Newsom says, going into Little Mogadishu, as the neighborhood is called, a bunch of these agitators have set up their own blockades. They are, and these aren't law enforcement people, these are a bunch of these left-wing agitators. They've set up blockades in the road, daring people to come through. They stop people, and they track their license plate, especially if they're from out of state. They're keeping a database. And now the law enforcement out there tore down one of these blockades, but there were others. And then we get an AP story today. Immigration agents draw guns, arrest activists following them in Minneapolis. Immigration officers with guns drawn arrested some activists who were trailing their vehicles on Tuesday, a sign that tensions have not eased. Well, you're damn right. And these activists have been doing this. They have been trying to interfere with ICE operations. Enough of this already. Enough of it. And setting up their own blockades. Enough. Anti-ICE Minneapolis agitators set up checkpoint to track federal agents. How dare these people? And how dare the local law enforcement let them get away with it? These little shanty makeshift checkpoints. Every single one of them should be in the clinker right now. So yeah, McBride, I'm disgusted with it because it's gotten too far out of hand, and we let this as a country get out of hand. We let this whole thing get out of hand. I keep repeating myself. When the courts in this land did not take on this whole concept of sanctuary cities and sanctuary states is where all this began. And it won't be finished until that is dealt with. All right, so the government's back open. Oh, goodness. You know what's another horrible story? This business with, and it doesn't sound, I don't want to presume anything, but it just doesn't sound good. This news story about Savannah Guthrie's mother. This is now going into the third day, and there were unconfirmed reports that there was blood found in the house, all of it. It just doesn't sound good. None of it sounds good. Yeah. Her 84-year-old mother has been taken, her 84-year-old mother. More than 48 hours after Nancy Guthrie was reported missing from her Arizona home, investigators still looking for her, asking the public for leads. Savannah Guthrie traveled to Tucson after learning that her mother was missing. She's without her crucial medication that she takes every day. The police are saying it's very concerning, and they're looking at it as a crime scene. So it is just, she didn't show up to church on Sunday morning. A church member called relatives who went to her home around 11 a.m. to look for her, the sheriff said. And about noon, a family member called 911. Something that they told me about the scene made me believe there's more than just a missing person, says the sheriff. We hope she's alive. We continue those missions of search and rescue. They don't know what time she was taken. This just does not sound good. By the way, Iran. You know, the Navy buildup up there continues. The Iranians tried to board an oil tanker today, yes. They tried 6 Iranian gunboats, unsuccessfully tried to halt a United States of America flagged oil tanker. They told the tanker, slow down, stop your engines, shut off your engines, and prepare to be boarded. Instead, the tanker sped up and kept going until the U.S. Navy was able to escort it. And the Pentagon hasn't immediately responded on this for a comment. Also reports today that the United States Navy shot down an Iranian drone that was flying a little bit too aggressively. So things over there heating up too. One of the issues, we've got this Billie Eilish stuff that's still going on. But we also, as I said, have a lot of awfuls in today's audio roster. I want to play some of those for you. Let's start with 11. This is one of my favorite of the awfuls for today. One of the awfuls is asked about a protest. She's a protest awful. And she's asked about why she's protesting. This is how that sounds.
Why are you out here protesting?
My name's Michelle, and I'm out here protesting because I'm against fascism.
Okay. What is fascism?
Fascism is word's hard. Fascism is the authoritarian, why are words so hard right now? Sorry. Fascism is an authoritarianism that is about, focusing on one demographic, right? So it's, I'm out of breath now. So it's taking over and excluding the people, excluding smaller demographics, and it's squashing opposition, right? So it's a regime that takes over for themselves and not for the actual people. This is supposed to be a democracy that is for the people, but this is just for them, and that's what fascism is.
Yeah, okay. Why are you protesting? Protesting against fascism. What is fascism? Duh! Okay. All right, let's continue with the awfuls. Folks, I got to tell you to brace yourselves for this one. This is one I haven't heard before. The awfuls, cut 12.
I really think it doesn't get bad enough. But being a mom in America, I had to stop walking for this. I often think that if it gets to the point of knocking on doors, God, and to even have these thoughts, it's like I'm literally separating from reality right now. If it comes down to me taking out myself and my kids versus us being taken and harmed by ICE, God help me, I did not want to do it. This is not the life I wanted. But that is a very dark thought that I've had. Death would be a easier out than for my children to be taken and harmed by these pedophiles.
You believe this? This woman is actually sitting contemplating taking her own life and taking her children's lives if ICE happens to apprehend. Now, she didn't even give a reason why, of course, ICE would be trying to apprehend her. By the way, this particular woman, so you can just visualize it, and I'm not kidding, has at least a dozen pins stuck in her face. And I don't know why, I don't know the significance of it, but she would contemplate taking herself and her kids out rather than ICE. Okay. Let's continue with the awfuls. Cut 13. Here's a teacher. We have 2 teachers in today's awful catalog. Here's a teacher that's an awful.
Hey, y'all, Donald Trump. My God, this emotional roller coaster. I don't know if anybody else, I just had to get on here and is anybody else feel like they are absolutely going crazy? Just like, God, I don't know. It was just like people were asking me, oh, how's it going? How was your weekend? Oh, it was good. No, it wasn't good. I had to say good, but it wasn't good. Nothing about this weekend was good. Literally. I did hit a high point yesterday where I was feeling pretty good, but my God, I'm all I can do today is look at all of my sweet little kiddos at school and all the kids in the hall and in the cafeteria. And I'm my God, this is not the world that we cannot leave the world like this for them. And I don't know. I just can't understand why something's not happening. And the people that are supposed to,
she's a teacher.
I don't know. I mean, I guess there's no one left to protect us except for ourselves. I don't know. So anyway, I'm just freaking.
I don't even have time for the second teacher because I wanted to get on other things. We got more of the awfuls. I had a bunch more awfuls. I want to move on. Karen Bass, the Don Lemon episode. Reporter asked her about the Don Lemon. This is the mayor of Los Angeles. Listen to Karen Bass, cut 4 on the Don Lemon fiasco.
I have a particular message to Black America that it's interesting that I believe the journalists that were arrested all look like me and you.
10 seconds.
And so this is not the first time this has happened. As a matter of fact, the journalist that is with me, Jasmine, was arrested a few years ago.
Mayor, you seemed angry in court. You weren't happy with.
I got a message for Black America. The journalists that were arrested look like me and you. I don't give a they invaded a church. Arrest more of them. Arrest all of them. They weren't okay. Don Lemon was on Kimmel. Big deal. Let's see. Fox News, cut 1. On this whole business with the Billie Eilish and the Grammys.
Billie Eilish, she says America's just made up all this land that was taken unjustly from people, but is the singer also living on stolen land is the question. Well, according to a local tribe out in California, she built her mansion on property that belongs to Native Americans. We talked to the Tongva tribe out in Southern Cal who says she's living on their property, saying this in part as the first people of the greater Los Angeles basin. We do understand that her home is situated on our ancestral land. Eilish hasn't contacted her tribe directly regarding her property. So back in 2020, comedian Ricky Gervais was ahead of this. He said, please do not get up here and use the stage as a platform for politics, saying in part, you're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. Now mocking Grammy winners because he said they're doing it again, saying they're still not listening.
Yeah, well, they're not. Now, Chris Mandel was on CNN. He ran for office out in Minnesota, and he's on with this New York, we got to take a break, this Christine woman from New York. It's hysterical. If we have time, we'll play it when we get back. If not, we'll hold it for tomorrow. We got to take a quick break, ladies and gentlemen. This fastest hour in American media, Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. James Golden Snerdley. Keep it right here.
Rush. This is the Rush Hour with James Golden.
Bo Snerdley.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Rush Hour with James Golden.
Goes by the pseudonym Bo Snerdley.
Rush.
Now, here's James Golden.
Yes, very quickly, let's get to this cut 2. Chris Mandel, CNN, and with a New York liberal, Christina, I forget her last name, doesn't matter.
I do.
Here she is.
I also get a little tired of Hollywood jackasses coming out and telling us what to think. And
that's a bit
Billie Eilish telling me that, that it's stolen land. I'd love to see her turn her keys back to her multi-million-dollar mansion to whomever is going to come over.
But if you don't like it, don't listen. Don't listen.
We're sitting here listening to all this and these sorts of people. Nobody cares what Hollywood thinks. Nobody cares what they think. I really like Jennifer Lawrence talking about, finally, she said, I'm not going to speak politically because nobody listens to us. And I think she's 100% right.
That is not true. Many people do care what celebrity...
They care at your parties. They care at your parties. They don't care anyplace else.
All right, Christine, you did interrupt him, so
that is fair enough.
Let's try not to do that in general, so we can all be heard. Go ahead.
Many people do care what celebrities say. If they didn't care what celebrities said, why would both?
That's Christine Quinn, New York Democrat. I'm talking. Unbelievable. We gotta go, folks. Remembering Dennis Edwards as we leave. Heavenly birthday today, singer who took David Ruffin's role as lead singer for the Temptations. And so many hits came behind that. Cloud Line, Can't Get Next to You, Ball of Confusion, My Girl, Don't Let the Joneses Bring You Down, Psychedelic Shack, goes on and on and on. Passed away in 2018, 2 days before his 75th birthday. May God bless, protect each and every single one of you, your families, your loved ones. Love and gratitude, my friends, for your being here with me, allowing me to be with you. God willing, we are back tomorrow for the Wednesday edition of Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. Until then, I bid you adieu. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. You can hear Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour weekdays at 4 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
If you're thinking about changing schools, why wait? At Manhattan University, love those guys. You don't have to start over. With transfer-friendly pathways, your credits count, and you keep moving forward. From day one, you're part of Jasper Nation, preparing for the real world. And with New York City just a train away, opportunity is everywhere. Ready to move forward without missing a step? Visit manhattan.edu/transfer and enroll today. Manhattan University. Don't start over, move forward.